Thank you very much. It's my great pleasure to have the chance to talk with Liam Gillot, who got the last aeroplane out of New York to join us. So we should be very grateful. It's also my great pleasure that we are continuing the honourable tradition of the Holland Festival, working in partnership with the Stedelijk. And the Stedelijk and the Holland Festival this year have come together to co-commission Liam. And Liam, this isn't your first time working in Amsterdam, and it's not your first time working with honourable institutions like the Stedelijk. But shall we start with the history of how you get to this point?
Netherlands is very important for me because it's why I became an artist, actually, which I haven't told you before. Because I came here in 1977 to play football in Valkenburg. And we were the best team in North London, Northwest London, where I'm from. We'd won the league and the cup, and we basically were the best. And we came to Holland to play a small tournament, and I basically gave up playing football after that, when I realized that there was no possibility to compete with the creativity and brilliance of Dutch football. So I came back 10 years later in 1987 for a Lawrence Wiener exhibition at the Stedelijk, which was my first exposure to a kind of institutional approach to culture here that seemed so different at that time to anything I'd experienced in Britain, where having turned up as a 23-year-old at a big museum opening, I was invited to the dinner, or to hang around and to be with people, and I felt included in some kind of process. And in a strange way, it's actually taken a long time to really come back and work here in this city. So it's been a very important place to start from, and a very important place to see something. And it's very important for me to try to come back here now and work. It's a different thing.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that. It gives our commission a whole new importance that I think is a big responsibility for us, actually. But this is going to be your largest piece of outdoor work. So perhaps it would be good just to talk about the journey of creating outdoor work and what.
Well, for me, I'm one of the people that got, after the end of my football career at the age of 13, I got interested in art through arts with an S, like going to places like the ICA in London and going to kind of what I call festival culture, which means as a teenager going to the things that are free at the edge of the festival and, forgetting about the other stuff, but sort of approaching culture through these peripheral events that are linked to festivals in a way and to arts centres. So I've thought about this kind of project a lot, and I wanted very much to do something that would be free and on the edge of the festival, but also somehow would allow me to work here and educate me a little bit. It's not a question of me trying to educate other people in that way. So I am going to work in the archive of the Stedelijk, basically, and working in collaboration with the collection of graphic art and design and also drawings, and trying to create a work which is basically, in a sense, quite a populist work, but a populist work that takes the populace, as it were, incredibly seriously. So shall I go and explain?
Yeah.
I went to Kyoto a couple of years ago to a very beautiful temple. I wasn't thinking about Amsterdam or Western Europe at all. But there at this temple site was one of these things, in America we call them carnival cutouts, like boards with holes, and you stick your head through the hole, and you complete a kind of stupid body, in a way. And I was really struck by the proximity of this almost medieval thing in this site of elegance and beauty and depth and spirituality, in a way. And I like this combination. So immediately I walked out onto the museum square, the museum thing. I thought about this moment of this combination of culture and the people, the populace, almost like a sense of the thing you find at the edge. And of course, these carnival cutouts, for me, their origin is in what we call in England the stocks, right? Like the thing where they stick you at the edge of the village to kind of humiliate you in a sense, or to put you on display. And over time, it developed into something where you're kind of playing with yourself. You're playing with your self-image. At schools in England, in the countryside, in the summer festivals, the teacher sticks their head through the hole, and for a minute they change their status, or the kid sticks their head through the hole of the princess or the king, or what have you. And it's something I thought could work very well in relation to the collection. Such a great, deep collection here at the museum. You could somehow combine these two things and do something both quite populist and deeply serious at the same time.
You said that this is, you think, the first time you have used the human form in your art, which again is, we're very honoured that we should be helping you with that process. But talk a little bit about what it means to use the human form.
Well, for me, these carnival cutout, this kind of fairground cutout structures, it relies on a degree of trust, right? Half the work is the people who are here, and the people who are here are a mixture. They're a mixture of people who are from here and from all over the world. That's half the work. And the other part is really about art and culture. And it comes from the starting point, which for me is always drawing. It's the thing that's very common. It's the thing that everyone starts with without being told to do it. It's the desire to make marks. So in a way, it's the human figure in many, revealed in many ways, in many styles and many experiments that you can find in the archive and in the collections of the museum, that somehow trying to suggest this kind of common root, in a way, this desire to present the human figure. It's such a basic thing, in a way. For me, it's very simple. And that's what I want. I wanted to have that clarity and simplicity. But there's another aspect to it, of course, because it's something where there's always going to be two sides, right? So when someone sticks their head through the hole and completes the beautiful Russian avant-garde drawing, at the same time they're going to be sticking their backside out at the same time, right? So there's something here about a kind of skepticism and enthusiasm about cultural work, which is something that is very strong for me and very important, and something I learned from some of my friends and colleagues here, I think, over the years, which is a deep commitment to a seriousness, but also always a suspicion of the authority of the institution. So just as much as people will be completing this extraordinary thing, they'll also be turning their backside to the museums at the same time. And for me, that's a very human and very collective gesture.
And it's also, of course, a piece that invites interaction, social interaction. If people wish to record themselves, wish to have a souvenir of becoming a piece of art, but you're not making it entirely easy for them.
Look, I'm getting old and older, and when I go to most of the big museums in Britain now, they've just given up, basically. You can take selfies in the museum, they're perfectly happy for you to do it. And the thing about this great, simple, idiotic carnival structure is it's really hard to take a selfie with your phone when you can't stick your arms through the holes. So you need someone else. You need a friend or a stranger or a passerby or something. You can't frame yourself. You become framed. So there's an element of playing with this idea of representation in regards to the public space and towards towards the institutions. And of course, you know, in societies that are increasingly watched, where cameras appear subtly and for various reasons, I also am looking forward to seeing any security footage that might be taken of people sticking their heads through the holes in the middle of the night and what have you. And there's an element of trust in it, and there's also an element of
mischief. I wanted just to finish by saying you've spoken about about being on the edge, and I should just say, as I whispered to you earlier, you are in fact not on the edge of this festival. You are the opening event of this festival, and I think it's incredibly appropriate with the values that you have so beautifully expressed of this piece, that you should be absolutely at the opening part of the festival and at the heart of this partnership with the Stately. So thank you for that, and thank you so much for coming. There's a chance to talk more to Liam afterwards, but now would you join me in thanking him with a round of applause? Thank you.